Welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast, where liking what you like is never a bad thing. Here's your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday.
Hey y'all, welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast. I'm your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday. As you know by listening to this podcast, I have a big time love of running. Okay, so that's a huge lie. I actually do not like running like at all. But I do have a big time love of running through theme parks. Because if I'm going to get up and put on running shoes, it might as well include running through themed magical lands and maybe even throw on a costume as well. I mean, I'm going to have fun with it, right? If I'm going to do it. Now, if you're like me and this kind of thing appeals to you, I have got some great news. Orlando travel friends. Orlando is plussing their theme park run options. Not only can you run Disney now, but SeaWorld held a 3-mile race last weekend. The Rescue Run, I think is what it was called. And by the reports that I heard, it went off really well. And now we have Running Universal coming to the Universal Orlando Resort. And if I sound giddy, it's because I am. I am so excited for this one. As a huge fangirl of the movies and TV shows that are featured all over Universal Orlando, I have been waiting for this to happen. And it's time. It's time, y'all. On the show today, I have a guest representing Running Universal, Bob Page, a radio broadcast specialist and Universal Orlando team member who has a passion for running. He's going to be there at the races this weekend. And he is here with me right now to give us the rundown. Ba-dum-bum. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Good. How are you? I completely identify with your lack of love for running. That's exactly the way I started out, hating it. But somewhere along the line, I began to love it, which is a little bit weird.
It is weird how that happens. The magical, mystical thing of that runner's high people talk about, something gets into your blood and the next thing you know, you are happily doing half marathons or 10Ks and you're like, how did I get here? How did this happen?
Yep, that's exactly the way it works.
All right, well, welcome to the show. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe expand a little bit on your running or Universal Orlando origin story, if you will?
Yeah, sure. I started working for Universal Studios Florida back in 1991 and ended up here at the Radio Broadcast Center somewhere around 95 or 96, not long after they opened the Radio Broadcast Center here at Universal Orlando Resort. Myself, I was just your average Joe guy. Go to work, have a family, live life, eat too much, don't move enough. And it got me a little bit overweight, a lot overweight. And had a little bit of an epiphany at my doctor's office. And we decided to change things up and live a healthier lifestyle just because I loved my life and I didn't want to cut it short per se. So just eating less, eating healthier, and moving more. And walking became running, and here we are. I'm now a runner. I mean, at one point in the journey, I was 580 days of running at least a 5K every single day in a row.
Dang, Bob, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's super crazy. And I've stopped that. That stopped in April of 2018. But I still run 4 to 5 days a week and go to the gym a few days a week and just trying to be the healthiest version of me I can so I can be around and bother people for a while. And get to do super cool, incredible things like come to Universal Orlando Resort and run through these amazing theme parks with this incredible event, Running Universal Orlando.
Oh gosh, yeah, I love that, and that's a great story of, mine kind of mirrors that as well. That it was about health more than it's ever been about speed, glory, or any of those other things. And I have just found that I am a happier person mentally as well as physically when I've got that movement in, and if that's a mile or two, then that's what it is.
Yep.
And I believe in it too. And again, what better could we ask for than to put those miles in someplace as cool as Universal Orlando? I love the description of this. I pulled this off the website. So the description of this race weekend is that race through the heart of Universal Resort, meet your favorite characters from Illumination's Minions, Jurassic World, DreamWorks Animation Shrek, Transformers, and more. Take home brag-worthy medals, commemorative swag, and a weekend of unforgettable memories. The only way to lose this race is to not show up. I love it. Well done, whoever wrote that.
Yeah, it's going to be so incredible. I mean, the parks are just beautiful anyway on their own, but to be here kind of that early in the morning before it's like open to the public and to be able to run through and have those character experiences, that's something that doesn't come around very often, and it's special, and it's going to be completely relished by the people that get to do it.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it, especially if you're somebody like me who loves the character interaction. I mean, I run for characters, I'll admit it. Now, this race is going to be held. There's actually two. There's the 5K on February 1st and the 10K on February 2nd.
Correct.
2020. And so you have two options. People can still sign up for this race, if I am correct. I think until the 29th, until January 29th. Is that right?
That is correct, at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. All right. So you guys got a little bit of time to go ahead and still get yourself set up. Now, how did you get involved with Running Universal, or how much involvement do you have with Running Universal?
Well, the amazing thing is it's really two of my favorite things in the world, because I mean, I've worked here for well over 28 years. And running's become such a big part of my life. And to get those two to kind of marry together, if only for a weekend, is just something really special. The folks here at Universal Orlando are kind enough to ask me to be a little bit of a part of it based upon my journey. So I do anything for them. This is Universal Orlando has just been a great place for me over the course of my life. So, and running now is just such a huge part of my life that having those two together, just incredible. And I think if anybody gets the opportunity to come out and do this, like, why would you not? Like, just so amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about these race courses for a minute, because, my mind was blown when I saw how much in the park time we are actually going to get. And it's one thing to be there with other guests and walking through the parks or getting from attraction to attraction. It's a whole different thing, though, to be there early morning without the hustle and bustle of stuff going on, but with these running friends, going through it. And what do you think the highlights are for the 5K and the 10K? What are you excited about running through?
I mean, me personally, I am super excited about seeing the Transformers and Blue, just because those are just some fan favorites for me personally. But there's literally going to be something for everybody. And there's also going to be some runners who are going to be out front that are just going to blow right past those characters like they don't even exist. But they're going to end up at the finish line with some really incredible medals. I was so blown away by the medals, because you go to a lot of races and you see the medals, and they're awesome, but these are definitely next level type medals. Something you're going to be proud of and want to bring to work for Medal Monday for sure.
Oh, they're Instagram worthy, 100%. 100%. Now, you mentioned a couple of characters there. Can you tell us who we might also expect on the course, or do we need to keep that secret?
Well, I know that there's definitely been talk of the Minions out and about, and Shrek will be out and about, and the rest, you're just really going to need to come out and run the course and see who you see.
There have been races in Hollywood Universal Studios parks. Two of them happened over the course of 2019, and we know that there's another one scheduled, I think, for April, and that's the Trolls race, right?
Yep.
Have you been out there to any of those races yet, or are there? Do you know of any plans to tie the two locations together for maybe a coast-to-coast challenge?
Yeah, that's a pretty epic idea, and we should definitely pass that along. And I've been out to the park in Hollywood, and it's pretty incredible on its own. I have yet to run any of those races. I was actually just out in California, and they have hills. So that's the big difference between us and them, is they have some hills for sure. We have a nice flat course here. It's going to be incredible. But I definitely would love to get out to Hollywood and do it for the challenge for sure.
Yeah, we would love a challenge. I mean, I will take any excuse to go to Hollywood because that mentality, that fangirlism that I have, it's one of my favorite places in the world. I also love going to that park because of the studio tour that they have there. It's so awesome. However, I hear you on the hills. The hills, that is not my thing. But I'd make it happen. I'd make it happen. And Universal Orlando is speaking my love language with that nice flat course kind of thing going on there. I love that.
Yeah, hills are just a thing. You got to get over them.
Yeah, you do. And what goes up comes down, right? So
mostly.
It works out.
Mostly.
Do you know why Universal decided to join this racing through theme parks idea? Like, finally, why did it take so long? Where were you, Bob? Why weren't you pushing for this sooner?
Well, I mean, in years past, they've had a Universal Orlando Fun Run, which was a 5K, and they had 3 of those. And I think this is just expanding upon that and opening it up a little bit bigger. And that's just what Universal Orlando's always done. We always tend to, keep improving and keep moving forward and doing more and doing better.
Do you have any insight on some of the logistics? Things like, do you know if there will be special merchandise to purchase? Anything like that at bib pickup or at the finish line? Anything along those lines?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be merch for the race series this weekend. So you'll just have to keep your eyes peeled for it. It's going to look awesome. And it'll be out here.
Excellent. Can your family, if you're on vacation and you're bringing your family in, can they come out and watch you finish this race? I know there is an Epic Fan option. There's an area that's set aside for certain fans, but can just anybody come out and kind of see the finish line?
Yeah, there's an Epic Fan registration that you can go through and do. But without doing that, I think it'd be a little bit difficult to kind of get everybody in and out of the park to do that type of thing. So they have set up the Epic Fan registration, and that's what they're absolutely suggesting people who want to come out and cheer your family and friends on in the race to do that.
Awesome. Okay. Do you know, are there any possible future plans to expand to, say, a half marathon distance in the future? Maybe when Epic Universe, the 4th park, opens up?
I would personally love that, and we will all just have to wait and see.
Fair enough. Now, one last question here. Do you anticipate, a lot of these questions are coming from folks who do the Run Disney thing, and so they're asking if there might be a long-term, like a legacy status or something like that for people that have started this weekend and run every race weekend in the future, because obviously we're putting it out in the universe that this is going to be a glowing success, that Universal Orlando is going to host this race every year because we already want it so badly. Do you anticipate, or do you see anything like that as a possibility?
I mean, those are all great ideas and certainly stuff that I'm going to try to push for. But again, we're just going to really have to wait and see. This is the inaugural Running Universal Orlando race weekend. It's how incredible to be a part of something the very first time that they do it. So if you're even thinking about, getting in on something like that, you can't get in on it unless you do this weekend first.
That is exactly right. And it is such a good time to come to Universal Orlando. These parks are just on a whole nother level, and they are some of my most favorite places. I could move in if you would let me to Diagon Alley. Is that okay? Can I make that happen? If you,
I think the rent might be a little bit up there, but nah.
It might be. I mean, if you want to just really feel yourself immersed in movies and TV, Universal is where you need to go and where you need to experience it. I can't say enough about the team members that you meet and that you run into at these parks. They are fantastic. Customer service is basically their middle names. I've never had a bad experience at Universal Orlando, so I am looking forward to getting on my plane and coming down to see you guys here in just a couple of days. Now, where can people follow along on social media this weekend? Do we have a hashtag? Do we have a specific account to follow? Anything you want to share or shout out?
Sure, you could definitely follow along the Universal Orlando typical social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But the hashtag for this weekend event is going to be hashtag Running Universal.
Awesome. All right. Well, guys, there's still time to register. If you jump on it ASAP, it closes at noon Eastern Time, January 29th, for this first race weekend. This is the inaugural. Like, you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. And you've got a 5 and a 10K that you can choose between, or do them both, okay?
Which one are you running?
Which one? I chose the 5K. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to do the 5K. And then the 10K, I'm actually going to do the Epic Fan registration and see what that's all about.
Awesome.
So that I can kind of experience the whole enchilada.
Well, you have to find me and we'll have to get a picture together.
I would love that.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would love that, Bob. I would love that. Well, thanks for joining me and sharing all these Running Universal details. You are welcome to come back on the No Guilt Fangirls podcast at any time.
Sure, just let me know. I'm happy to do it.
Thanks, Bob. If you are loving this whole idea of Running Universal, don't forget to join the unofficial Running Universal Facebook group. I'll link that in show notes, and hit the subscribe button on this podcast because we fangirl all kinds of things here, and it's no fun to fangirl alone.